Frag Radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for another episode of Frag Radio. And here with you today is your boy Radius. And so I've had the opportunity to be playing through the Gears of War Ultimate Edition over this past 4 or 5 days, maybe closer to 6, leading up till launch. I got a review code from Microsoft. They were kind enough to send me one over so that I could get this content ready for you guys. And I've been playing through the campaign. I played some of the multiplayer. Thanks to the Coalition devs for setting up that so that we could get in and test the multiplayer before launch. It's been a pretty great experience, but anyone who's been listening to this podcast long enough knows whenever something Gears of War related comes along, my Phoenix is rising. No, for real. I'm a huge Gears of War fan. Of course, everybody knows I'm also a huge Alan Wake fan. But Gears is my number one franchise. So I might be slightly biased in this review. You can make up your own mind on that. So here we go. All right, so first of all, when you boot it up, you notice the campaign, the Xbox Live menu. They've also got extras, the War Journal, which you'll remember from previous Gears. So first of all, let's start off with campaign. Campaign, they completely redid all the assets in the game, so everything looks brand new. The audio is the same. I don't know if they went in and touched it up at all. But the audio is the original audio, just as it was, and when you first played Gears on 360. But and I believe the musical score is as well. But other than the sounds that you're hearing, everything else is pretty much brand new. I think something over 3,000 different assets in the game. They completely went in and reskinned with brand new high resolution textures, and everything just looks amazing. When I was going through, whether I was, fighting through the streets at nighttime, trying to avoid the krill, underneath the paper lanterns, the light coming down on you. It's just an amazing looking game, and it makes me very hopeful for what could be coming with Gears of War 4. We already saw some of that at E3, with the trees blowing and with the wind and all those type of effects and the textures on that fortress that they were entering with those 2 new characters. That was all looking super great. So this remaster is just right up there with those graphics. Maybe not quite as good graphically as what we saw in the Gears of War 4 demo, but I guess that that's to be expected. This is a remaster after all. But I think the big thing to note here is that a lot of people are doing remasters this generation. So I think the big question is, what is a remaster? Well, to most developers, a remaster is taking an old game from last generation and upping the resolution and frame rate to 1080p, 60 frames per second, and then re-releasing it on the new consoles. They possibly might include some DLC in with it, and that's their version of remastered. Well, what I really like about Microsoft and their remasters is that they take things to a new level, and they're a little bit more meticulous about how they handle their remasters. And it's not just a simple, we'll just up the resolution and frame rate, throw in that DLC and re-release it. To me, when people do that, it's just lazy. So it's really nice to see Microsoft and the Coalition take their time with the Gears of War Ultimate Edition and really make it into something special that fans of the franchise are going to enjoy. Like I was saying, the campaign, they completely redid all the textures. Everything looks phenomenal. Of course, all the cog tags are in there just like they were before, and they're in the same places they were in the original Gears, which I would have liked it if they would have relocated the cog tags around so that veteran players could have, kind of rediscovered them all over again rather than knowing exactly where they were from memory. That being said, there are 5 new chapters to Xbox players who never played Gears of War on PC. Those 5 chapters have been remastered right along with the rest of it is on in the Ultimate Edition on Xbox One. So what's cool about that is there are also, I think, 3 to 5 new cog tags, excuse me, located in those missions. So you will have a few cog tags to seek out that if you didn't play it on PC, you won't know where they're located. So a little bit of a surprise there. Let's see what else about the campaign. It's fully playable co-op, just like it always was. And the cog tags, they unlock pieces or pages of comic books. When you go from the main menu to your war journal, you will see, I think it's like 5 or 6 comic books there. And every time you discover a cog tag, it unlocks a page or maybe even a couple pages of one of those comic books. And eventually you'll have unlocked an entire comic book and then another entire comic book and so forth. And that's really cool because it adds to the lore of Gears of War and the backstory of the game and lets you know more about these characters and what's going on in their lives or what has happened in their lives. And I just think that was a really nice touch to go along with the cog tags, because a lot of times collectibles are just that, collectibles. You collect them and you're done. So it's nice to see those cog tag collectibles tied to something of value in these comic books. I was really a big fan of that. The whole thing of getting chased by the Brumok in the new chapters was absolutely crazy. I actually had played Gears of War on PC, but when I did, I just played multiplayer because I had always I'd already done the campaign on 360, and I didn't realize how much new content had been added to the campaign on PC, so I just never got around to messing around with it. I pretty much just stuck with multiplayer. So it was a brand new, fresh experience for me, campaign-wise, to go back through and play those new chapters. And they were some really good chapters. They added to the story. It felt like they should have been there all along, because they actually take place between Acts 4 and 5, or they're part of Act 4 and Act 5. I don't know, but it's before the end and after what you've already done. So it fits right into the story and flows along. It's almost as if the chapters were always there, and like they were there, and I had just forgotten about them. But yeah, they're brand new. I really, really enjoyed my time with the campaign. I have played through it single player on normal difficulty, and I played 3 or 4 chapters co-op with a buddy of mine who you also know from Frag Radio, and we just kind of went through, and I just wanted to see how the co-op was, and it works just as you'd expect. Of course, Gears of War is always 10 times funner when played with a friend, and that's whether you're playing in campaign or in multiplayer. So that was super great. I'm actually looking forward to going back and playing co-op with my friend who also used to be part of the podcast, the Glass Torch, on insane difficulty. It's kind of like a ritual that we have whenever a Gears of War game comes out. We go through and we play through the campaign on insane difficulty, and we don't stop until it's complete. So I'm looking forward to doing that. And of course, getting down on the multiplayer. That's another. Once we get finished with the campaign, it's Gears of War multiplayer for months on end. I'm probably going to be playing the multiplayer on Gears of War Ultimate Edition for a long time. So, or at least until Gears 4 comes out anyway, right? So, if you're interested, my gamer tag is PradiusXUCM. That's PradiusXUCM. Give me a shout. I'm always looking for people to play with, especially on Gears of War. So yeah, feel free. So let's just go through the checklist of some stuff that I've jotted down that you can look for. All right, so the audio has been remastered for Dolby 7.1 digital surround sound. So while it's the same audio, it's been remastered, and you can now experience it in your surround sound system, and it definitely sounds a little bit better than it did before. Of course, the 90 minutes of new campaign content. It's an hour and a half worth of missions from the PC that are now playable on Xbox for the first time. They've also added some new achievements. There are, I believe, 1,250 gamer score points worth of achievements there. So, and all the original achievements from the Gears of War on 360 are there, plus some new ones. So you'll be able to experience all those again and get all those nice chivos. If you're like me, you're going to try and go for the full 1,250. I'm not really the type of person who goes for maximum achievements in every game I play, but like I said, I'm a huge Gears of War fan. So every Gears of War game, I try and get the max. I try and get all the achievements. I believe the first Gears of War on 360, I only got like 900 gamer score. I was missing some there. Um, but Gears of War 2, I got all the achievements, max gamer score, and then Gears of War 3, I have all but one achievement, and one or two. I think the one I'm missing is it's a horde mode related one where you get the rockets on the silverback and are able to use them. So, but yeah, that's not included in there. So of course, yeah, 60 frames per second, 1080p, dedicated servers, skill-based matchmaking. So you will be matched up with other players based on your skills. So if you start playing and you're not doing well, you will notice that over time it's starting to match you up with more players who are down at your skill level or up at your skill level. If you're completely beasting people in every match you get into, you'll eventually get to the point where it's matching you up with other people who are just as beasts as you are. And I think that's great. And the fact that it's on dedicated servers is a huge welcome, especially for Gears of War 1. I believe Gears of War 3 was on dedicated servers. I don't think Gears of War 2 was. But yeah, so Gears of War 1, everyone remembers that host shotgun. If you were hosting, all you had to do was roll around with that Nasher and you were going to beast, and it was a great feeling. But it was also kind of annoying because sometimes if you weren't the host and you just happened to be doing good, people would accuse you of being the host because there was no way to really tell who the host was unless they told you that they were the host. So glad to see all that out the window. All the game types you remember from before are there. Execution, Warzone, Assassination, Annex. They've also added traditional King of the Hill, Gears of War 3 style King of the Hill. Another version of King of the Hill called Blitz, where your team actually has to stay in the circle for it to keep counting the points up. With King of the Hill and Annex, you just have to go and capture the point, and once you've captured it, you can step out of the circle, and as long as no enemies step into it, it'll keep counting the points. But with Blitz, you actually have to stay in, or at least one of your teammates have to stay in the circle to keep those points going up. 2v2 Nasher. This is, I guess, like a version of Wingman. We remember Wingman, I believe it was first introduced in Gears of War 2, where it's 2v2, but this is Nashers only. And they've got a special smaller map called Boxes, which is very, very close quarters map. It's got to be the smallest Gears of War map ever made, but it's pretty awesome. And I had never played on it before, so it's good to see it. Let's see. All right, so a total of 19 maps. That includes all the maps from 360, all the maps that were added in DLC to 360, plus the 3 maps that were PC exclusive, which were, I believe, Courtyard, Sanctuary, and there was one more. I can't remember what the last one was. And then Boxes. I guess Boxes must be a new map because I don't remember ever playing Boxes on Gears of War on 360 or PC. So, yeah. And I think the only way you can choose Boxes is if you're doing 2v2 Nasher Execution. Don't hold me to that, but I think that's the way of it. There are 17 Gears of War 3 characters unlockable for multiplayer progression. So as you play through, rank up your character in multiplayer. Of course, you've got the ranks. The original Gears of War didn't have ranks when it first came on 360. And then Gears of War 2 had ranks, Gears of War 3 had ranks, Judgment, so forth. So you can go all the way from rank 1 up to 100, and once you get to 100, you can re-up, or Call of Duty players know it as prestiging, which is you start over back again from rank 1 and rank up again, but your rank number will be a different color, and so people will know that you're super boss and have leveled up to 100 multiple times over. But yeah, so in addition to the 17 unlockable extra characters, they have a bunch of weapon skins as well. There are some that you can unlock through gameplay. There are some that are exclusive to people who played in the beta, or are some that are up for purchase on the market. Same thing, and then there's some that are exclusive to pre-order bonuses, like the Emulsion skin for those who pre-ordered the game. There's some characters too. I think Best Buy has the Golden Hunter, Amazon has Savage Theron, GameStop has Savage Cantus and the Savage Grenadier. And then if you get it on Xbox, you get Civilian Anya and Adam Phoenix and Griffin, I think. I don't know. Depending on where you get it, you'll be getting different pre-order characters. I believe they are exclusive to these different retailers, so the only way to get them all would be if you bought multiple versions of the game, or if you went on eBay and bought the code separately from people who are selling them off on eBay. Usually eBay is the cheapest route. Like I said, I've always been a huge Gears of War fan, so even though it's a little bit dirty releasing those exclusive skins at different retailers, I have always made it my mission to get every single one of those skins, and no matter what Gears I was playing. So this will be no different. And since I got pretty much got the game for review, I gonna buy a copy of the game for my son. He's a huge Gears of War fan, just like I am. We'll be playing together as well. So really looking forward to that. There is a lot more customization when you're doing private matches in Gears of War with the Ultimate Edition than there was on 360. You can set respawn timers, point allocations, self-revives. You can turn self-revives on and off, active reloads on and off. You can mess around with the weapon respawns, choose when they respawn. Tons of different things to mess around with to change up the way that the gameplay is when you're playing privately in private matches with friends. So I know a lot of people are going to have fun there. Another cool thing is that in addition to playing locally, Gears of War Ultimate also supports LAN play and 2 spectator slots. So if you want to get like a tournament going at your house, or rent out a couple hotel rooms like people used to do with Halo back in the day, you're more than welcome to do that. And you can get 2 spectators, live stream it on Twitch, have a huge Gears of War tournament of your own. I think that's a really, really, really cool feature. I'm glad that they added that, and I'm looking forward to seeing how many people will actually take advantage of it. Let's see. All right, so modernized the gameplay with smoother movement, updated controls. The characters definitely move a little bit faster now than they did before. The controls feel a little bit smoother. Weapons a little bit tighter. The Gnasher was, while beast, it was notoriously inaccurate back in the day, because you could shoot somebody point blank and not do any damage, or you could shoot them point blank and blow them into pieces. You just never knew what was going to happen. It was almost like it was luck of the draw when you were shooting with a Gnasher back in the day. So all that type of stuff has been addressed. There are alternate controls and new tournament controls, like I said, for that LAN play. All the controls are tuned for the Xbox One controller, so you don't have to worry about feeling uncomfortable. Everything actually feels better. It does take a few minutes to get used to that 60 frames per second if you're used to playing Gears day in and day out for the last 9 years, and 30 frames per second. 60 frames per second, while it doesn't sound like it, is a huge change and makes a hell of a difference. It took me a little bit to get used to it, but I am back to beasting all over again. Actually, a funny story. I had the multiplayer session with some of the Coalition journalists, or some of the Coalition developers, and a couple other journalists to get this multiplayer session together, so we could play around with the multiplayer and have our reviews ready for in time for launch. And I was beasting so bad, I was killing everybody. All right, and pretty much after every match, one of the developers kept asking me to switch teams to make it fair to the other journalists. That's how much I was decent on everybody. But I'm a huge Gears of War fan, and I've always been super great at Gears multiplayer, so it wasn't surprising to me. But it was pretty funny that they kept having me switch teams, and I was just laughing to myself over and over. And then whenever I got, because there was one other player that was pretty good as well. He was really good with the sniper. He wasn't getting quite as many kills as I was, but he was up there too. And there was 2 or 3 matches where I got switched with him, and whenever the 2 of us got together, it was super beast. I mean, the other team just got annihilated. So, and then one time they switched me back to the other side, and I was like, oh man, y'all got to keep putting me with the scrubs. And then one of them, it's like, hey. But yeah, I had a ton of fun playing with those guys. It was a great session, and let's see, what else for the multiplayer? They've also added enemy spotting, like remember from Gears of War 3, where you could spot players off in the distance, and it puts a little marker above their heads for your allies to see. You can do that now as well. There's also the multiplayer TACCOM, where you can locate your own teammates and see where they're at. So it adds, while it sounds like minor additions, it actually makes a huge difference to the strategy and tactics of the way you play with your team, especially if you're playing with a team that communicates and works together as a team. It makes a huge difference, being able to spot the enemies and being able to bring up the TACCOM and know exactly where your allies are at all times. So it's just a super great remaster. Like I said, a lot of remasters these days are just taking the low road, just giving it that quick resolution bump, frame rate bump, throw in a couple DLC packs and throw it out there. And a lot of them have the audacity to try and charge $50 to $60 for it all over again. Well, with Gears of War Ultimate Edition, not only are you getting everything that I just mentioned for $40, you also get, through backwards compatibility, thank you Microsoft, you get the 360 version of Gears of War 1, the 360 version of Gears of War 2, Gears of War 3, and Gears of War Judgment, all playable on your Xbox One through backwards compatibility. Everything I've just mentioned and talked about for $40. That is a hell of a deal. And considering everything you get and all the work that went into this remaster, and especially comparing it to other half-assed remasters that are out there, I'm looking at you, God of War 3 and Last of Us Remastered. Okay? Sorry. 5 frags all day. A perfect 5 frags. Absolutely loved it. I'm still loving it. I'm going to continue loving it. What else can I say? It's Gears. If you're not a Gears of War fan, if you've never liked Gears, this probably isn't going to do anything to change your mind. However, it's still a great deal for getting all those games, all that content for $40. So, even if you're not a huge, if you're even a casual Gears of War fan, I would say must buy. If you've never played Gears of War 4 and you don't know what all the fuss is about, it's a must buy. $40, essentially 5 games. 2 of them are the same game, the regular version of Gears of War 1 and the Ultimate Remastered Edition of Gears of War 1. But even if you take away the fact that one of them is the old version of the new game, it's still 4 games. Gears of War Ultimate, which is Gears of War 1, Gears of War 2, Gears of War 3, Gears of War Judgment. All that for $40, you just can't beat it. And Microsoft has been super great at rolling out the bundles and the value recently. Rare Replay, 30 games for $30 with Rare Replay. That was an amazing value. And then, of course, Halo the Master Chief Collection, where you get all 4 Halo games in one package working together, the multiplayer, all that. I know it had, a rocky launch or whatever, but it's running terrific now. And you got ODST for free because of that, so stop griping, But yeah, 5 frags, Gears of War Ultimate Edition, absolutely perfect. The only thing I could have asked for would have been maybe them adding a horde mode in there, but I know that would have taken a hell of a lot of time. Although one thing they didn't add that I think they should add, that would be easy to add, I think, or fairly easy, is Guardian. Guardian is my favorite multiplayer mode in Gears of War. In Gears of War 2, in Gears of War 3, me, Glass Torch, we always play Guardian. 24/7, all day, every day. I love Guardian. And then, while they have Assassination in Gears of War Ultimate, it's not the same. In Assassination, as soon as your leader dies, it's game over. The other team wins the round. In Guardian, your leader, as long as he's alive, your teammates keep respawning. And once your leader dies, the round isn't over. The people on your team who are still alive still have a chance to come back, kill that other leader, and finish off the team, and still win it for you, even though the leader has perished. So I would really, really, really love to see Guardian added to Gears of War Ultimate. Please, please add it on there. I would be so grateful. But yeah, moving on. Warframe. This is the second and last thing I need to talk about today. Last big thing anyway. So they just had the most recent dev stream on Warframe. We haven't had a dev stream in about a month or so. It's been a while. So it was really nice to see them come back and tell us about all the terrific things that are coming to Warframe and upcoming updates. I think most of these updates are coming in either 17.5 or 18. So in the fairly near future, 18 is probably a ways away, but 17.5 shouldn't be too long from now. So let's just go down the list, and I took notes of everything that's and there are some huge things that are being added. First of all, Excalibur Umbra. I know a lot of fans of Warframe already know about this. They saw that it was going to be a China exclusive to the China Founders Pack, just like the original Excalibur Prime was original to founders of Warframe here in the States and UK and globally on PC. So for China, instead of doing Excalibur Prime, since he's exclusive to those founders, they did Excalibur Umbra. But this Excalibur Umbra actually looks more Prime than the regular Excalibur Prime. It looks awesome. And he's only exclusive to China for 30 days. So after that 30 days, he will be coming to the States, the UK, everywhere else in the world. He will be coming globally to all the rest of us war players. So you can look forward to Excalibur Umbra, and he is just an amazing, amazing looking Warframe. I just can't wait to get my hands on him. Also, this isn't the only Umbra there's going to be. They're talking about doing a whole new line of Warframes that are Umbra based, so we might get a Frost Umbra or a Valkyr Umbra or a Loki Umbra, and they're still going to continue doing Prime frames as well. So now we'll have the regular version of each frame, the Prime version of each frame, and the Umbra version of each frame. You will eventually, as they continue adding them over time. So I just think that's really cool, and I'm looking forward to getting my hands on Excalibur Umbra. They also had the Nakana Prime, and there was another weapon as well that was China exclusive. I believe those will be coming to everybody else globally as well. So looking forward to that. I know lots of huge fans of the Nakana out there, especially the Dragon Nakana. So I'm looking forward to playing around with the Nakana Prime once we get it here in the rest of the world. Possibility of multi-shot melee mods. As you know, you've got stuff like barrel diffusion for your pistols, lethal torrent, stuff like that. Multi-shot mods, like the one for rifles that had 90% multi-shot. If you put barrel diffusion and lethal torrent together, I think it is, on pistols, you can get up to like 180% multi-shot. And what that does is you have a 90% chance of your rifle for every shot you shoot for one bullet to count as two. So you're pretty much if you have that 90%, it's pretty much every bullet you're shooting is actually two bullets doing double the damage. And if you have the barrel diffusion plus lethal torrent on pistols, that's 180%. That's like almost every bullet you shoot counts as three bullets. So you're doing almost triple the damage. So multi-shot mods make a huge impact on Warframe, and if they could have something similar to that for melee mods, I think that would just be amazing. And I think that would make melee a lot more viable. I know there's a lot of players out there now who already love melee Warframe. Me personally, I stick to my guns. I've always been a gun guy. I just love guns and shooting. But if they get swords to the point where they actually are beast enough to where I feel like I can run around and kill people fast enough to where I'm not going to be going down every 5 minutes, then that would make it more viable for me. And I don't really use Rhino a lot, so I know if you're gonna melee, Rhino's really the way to go. You could possibly maybe use Frost. He's kind of tankish, but or Loki if you're going to be invisible. But I'm pretty much a gun guy, but I do enjoy using swords on stealth missions, like if I'm doing Spy 2.0, stuff like that. Okay, new Lisettes. They are working on the Lisette 2.0s, where it's not just going to be one Lisette. There will be multiple different versions of Lisettes that you'll have to choose from, and it's going to make your Lisette bigger. There will be more parts of the ship. It won't just be the cockpit and then that little lower room with the arsenal and the two benches. You'll actually be able to travel into more rooms in your ship and there will be more customization beyond just tinting a few colors and throwing up a few noggles. There are going to be huge more amounts of customization, and you'll be able to, and that includes the way your Lisette looks shape-wise from the outside, the actual design of it, the rooms and how the layout is on the inside. It's gonna be great, and I'm actually really looking forward to that, because while I love the fact that, unlike Destiny, Warframe actually lets you go inside your ship, and on the loading screen you can actually move it around, except where unlike Destiny, where on Destiny it's just stationary ship, you can't go inside of it, and all you do is just see it going down whatever planet you're landing on. But one thing I can say for Destiny is there are a ton of different ships, and whenever you jump into a lobby with a lot of players, everybody's got a different ship for the most part. But when in a Warframe, everybody has the same shapeless set. The only thing that really sets it apart is the skin that you have on it and the colors that you've chosen, which is cool. But I think it's going to be even more better once people have different, actual ships to choose from and can have different shaped ships on top of using different colors and skins, mixed all that together, and I think you'll see a lot more variety. And I think variety is always a good thing when it comes to games, especially games like Warframe, Destiny, MMOs, MOBAs, and things like that. New Sentinel. I don't know what the hell this Sentinel is they showed. It looked like a Grenier themed Sentinel. But it's crazy. They didn't really say what the name of it was, what it's going to do, or anything. It was like a quick teaser at the end of the dev stream. I just figured I'd mention that. Moving on, revisiting and revamping old weapons visually and physically. So, as you know, they've been working on revamping Warframes like Excalibur, and then more recently Frost, and now they're working on Valkyr. So they're talking about doing the same thing to weapons, going back to some of those old weapons that aren't really viable anymore, and not only making them more viable by upping the damage or doing whatever needs to be done, but also maybe upgrading the look of them and making them look better, because graphically Warframe has improved over time, so some of those older weapons actually don't look as cool as some of the newer weapons, and they're going to be giving them a visual upgrade as well. So I think that's pretty cool. Possibility of utility mods on weapons. Now, those of us on console haven't been able to experience this yet, but so pretty much they've added these utility slots to Warframes to where you can do something like Rush that increases your run speed, or mods that affect your movement. You can put them in this utility slot, which is cool because it leaves a free slot where you would normally put that to put a mod on your frame that will increase its power and actually make it more powerful and more viable in combat. So I think that's really cool. If they could do something like that for weapons, where there's a utility slot where you could put something in to increase reload speed or magazine capacity or whatever, and free up that slot that you would usually use that for, to use that slot to make your weapon even more powerful, I'm all for that. Let's see. All right, so next up was Cat Bros. They been talking about Cat Bros for a while, and we've mentioned Cat Bros here on the show before. But the two they showed was, one are the feral Cat Bros, which pretty much lurk in the infested areas of the game, and they like feast on infested. So that's pretty crazy, and they're pretty crazy looking. And then also the Grenier themed Cat Bros, which are, it's like those cats that don't have any fur. They're like just skin. It's like those type of cats, and they are new enemies to be fighting against you. They're part of the Grenier faction, and there will actually be trainers, which there is a new trainer enemy type to go along with this Cat Bro, which you will be fighting the trainer and the Grenier Cat Bro at the same time. It all looks really crazy, especially the trainer. That trainer looks great. He almost looks like a Grenier version of Hydroid almost. I don't know. So it's really weird, but really cool at the same time. All right, so there's going to be a new Grenier female boss coming in Update 18, which we talked about a little bit, I believe, on one previous episode. People were wondering when she was coming. I think they're shooting for Update 18 for her. And then, of course, Update 17.5 is going to be the giant golem boss for the Arcwing trial. We're really looking forward to that. They're going to be, with all this stuff, people are, worried that they're spending a lot of time on the Grenier. What about the Corpus? They are working on adding female Corpus. So right now, when you're in the game, you're fighting pretty much against all male Corpus or mechanical Corpus. So there are now actually going to be female Corpus enemies, and I think that's really cool. I think they said there's going to be like 32 different variants or something like that. So I'm looking forward to seeing where that goes. The pre-Corpus Valkyr. So they've been talking about this in a couple one or two dev streams. So Valkyrie right now is after she was like tormented by Alad V and all that stuff. So there's going to be a new version of Valkyrie. I believe this is going to be a skin for the regular Valkyrie that will make her look pre-corpus before she was mutilated and stuff like that. She has like a tail. Looks really different from the regular Valkyrie, I think. But they're also doing a rework on it. Not going to be as drastic as Excalibur, but I believe they said the rip line is going to be faster, shoot faster, move faster. One or two of her abilities will cast faster. But yeah, so we'll be looking forward to that, and I do believe they're going to be sharing some more information about that over time. I think there's going to be more than just the rip line faster stuff. All right, and new skins. So there is a new skin coming for Rhino that looks amazing. I just almost crapped myself when I saw it and it came from the dev stream. This is the most amazing skin I think I've seen for any Warframe. And I'm not even a huge fan of Rhino. But once this skin comes out, I'm going to be sporting some Rhino because it is just the dopest looking skin I have ever seen. It's like almost like medieval and gothic rolled into one. So if you could picture a medieval / gothic version of Rhino, that's where we're going here, and I'm going to try and get a picture up on the show for you to see. So, yeah. Also, Saren, I believe there's two different versions of Saren that they're working on right now. The one looks kind of crazy, hard to describe, but the second one looks awesome. Very sleek. I like the straight shoulders, the rounded head, and like the weird dress thing coming off of her. Really, really cool. I love that skin. I think that one's an absolute must. If you're going to do either of those Saren skins, please do the second one. And I think that the one I'm talking about was actually done by a fan. So please add that one. It just looks great. Sentient themed weapons. So we haven't experienced this on console yet, but on PC, the Sentients have arrived in Update 17, and they're talking about adding some Sentient-themed weapons to the game as well. So we can look forward to experiencing some Sentient-themed weapons over time. See, Star Chart mission reworks coming. So they're doing reworking the star charts, and they're reworking how missions work at the same time. And I believe both of those things are going to kind of come at the same time, whether that be 17.5 or Update 18. Whenever they come, both of those will come pretty much right at the same time. They're trying to add more player choice, make things less of a grind, and make new players less confused, I believe. So the Typhus concept Parasite themed Warframe, which is a fan concept themed Warframe, but the one that they are going to do it will be eventually coming. If you haven't seen these the Typhus themed Warframe, you have to look that up on the Warframe forums. I don't believe I have a picture of him on hand, but yeah. So they actually have 4 new Warframes in active development right now that will be coming before Typhus, so it's going to be a while. The next Warframe we can all look forward to is called the Tenno Brawler, or at least that's what he was labeled on the dev stream. He almost looked like a headless horseman with spiked knuckles. Really crazy looking. I'm looking forward to testing him out. He's going to be an up close and personal type of frame, obviously. So no word on exactly when he's going to be coming, but he's the next thing coming as far as new Warframes. And then a whole new planet, the Moon. This was one of my favorite parts of the dev stream. The Moon has obviously been devastated over time, but it is home to an old Orokin colony, and with Orokin, that means everything in this colony on the Moon looks prime. This is like a prime version of a Warframe. This is a prime version of a planet. There is just everything's lined with gold. It just looks amazing. amazing, and I just can't wait to check that out and see what the whole story is behind it, and what's going on with that planet and what the tile sets are going to look like for it. Really, really looking forward to checking that out. So yeah, brand new planet, the moon, coming to a Warframe near you. Mobile app, they showed a little bit of that. It's looking great, much more sleeker than last time we saw it, and I believe they said they're shooting for around update 17.5 or 18. So somewhere between 17.5 and 18 we'll be getting the mobile app finally. And I hope once they get it out, they update it regularly, because I don't know about the iOS version of the Warframe app, but if you look at the Android version of the Warframe app, it hasn't been updated in like 2 years. So, and I can appreciate they're taking a long time. They want to make this app good. They want to get it right. And I hope once it comes out that they continually update it and make it better, and not just leave it there on the store for 2 years before they decide to update it again. Mobile apps are something that need to be updated constantly, and they're on the right track with what I've seen from the mobile app. It's looking terrific. I can't wait to get my hands on it. I just hope that they help keep it and keep up with it once it's out. And then closing out, a couple more things. The second Dream Quest. This is going to be the biggest quest they've ever done, supposedly, and this will be the quest where you finally meet the Lotus in the flesh. And it'll also feature a new location, and it will feature player choices, so you'll be able to make some player choices about the mission. I think it's going to be interesting to see how that happens, how that works itself into the game. I'm really interested in seeing the Lotus in the flesh for the first time, so it definitely sounds like a huge mission, and I do believe that's going to be part of update 18, not 17.5. And then last but not least, I know everybody's probably wondered at one point or another, why are there only secondary weapons available at syndicates? Each syndicate has a weapon you can get, but every weapon on every syndicate is a secondary weapon. So where's the primaries? Well, good news. There are primary weapons coming to a syndicate near you. New Loka has a badass looking rifle. I can't remember which one it was off the top of my head. Red Veil has a bow. And then I think it believes Parent Sequence had like a Quanta themed weapon. So, and then of course the rest of the syndicates are going to be getting primaries as well. They just didn't show those off in the dev stream, but they did show off those three to kind of give us a little bit of taste of what's coming. And I'm really looking forward to it. The syndicate weapons are some of the best weapons in the game. The Telos AK Boltos, the Vacorn Marelock, the Sino Gamma Core. Those are the three best secondary weapons in the game, really. So, I mean, if the primary weapons keep up with that tradition, then I am looking forward to playing with them. But yeah, so I think that pretty much covers just about everything we have for the show today. It's been a great show. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you for all the support. Shouts out to Appy Gamer, Game On, Gaming News and Reviews, all of our partners out there. Please check out those apps, whether you're on Android, iOS, Windows, whatever. We appreciate it. They appreciate it. You'll love it. All the great apps. And we will catch y'all next time. Peace.
Frag Radio.